Hi, folks. My name's Ariana, and you're listening to KWDC 93.5 Stockton. The show you're tuned into right now is put together by students and staff enrolled in the broadcasting courses in the digital media department at San Joaquin Delta College. Thanks for listening and supporting college radio. Hello and welcome to our first episode on Still Home, Still Grown. My name is Ariana Munoz, and joining me today in the studio, we have Trinity Montez.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you, Trinity. Our topic today is living at home in your 20s, so sit back and enjoy the show. Alrighty, so let's just get into it because living at home in your 20s is definitely going to come with some moments, right? So before we dive in, I want to introduce someone really special to me, Trinity Montez, here with me in the studio today. She's not only my coworker, but also one of my closest friends, and honestly, she's someone who gets what it's like to live at home in your 20s while also trying to build your own life. So Trinity, let's start here. Living at home comes with some real push and pull, some tug of war, right? What's it been like for you trying to find that balance between being independent and respecting some house rules?
Well, let's start off with I'm Filipino, and we all know that Asians are really, really strict. And I feel like my parents want me to try to balance out work and my social life as well, but I don't think they really understand. Like, I'm doing chores and stuff like that, and my little brother, he kind of helps out around the house, but he's still at school, so, I'm kind of doing most of this stuff, and I feel like they don't really understand that social life and mental health kind of ties together, because if I'm just sitting by myself and locked up in the house, I kind of go a little crazy.
Yeah, no, heavy on that. I just feel like a lot of the times parents don't understand. Well, first off, they don't believe in mental health. Like,
Right.
I know your parents are Asian and my parents are Hispanic, but I feel like my parents personally, they just don't believe in mental health crisis and depression and just all of those things that are going to impact us or are impacting us. They kind of, like, I feel like my parents just rub it off. Like, I remember the first time I told my dad I needed to be in therapy, he was like, well, why can't you just come to us? And I'm like, you are not a professional, sir. It's very different. And they want us to fall into these categories. They want us to be hardworking, but they don't want us to focus too much on our friends and what makes us happy. So how do you feel like you maintain your personal freedom while living under the family's roof? Like, I know it's hard when you have your own room there and you feel like that's yours, but then they can say like, oh, well, we pay for your room. We allow you to live in it. I hear that all the time. I don't know about you. How do you feel about that?
Heavy on that part. Heavy on the freaking, we pay for everything around this house, our house, our rules. Like, okay, well, first of all, I help out around this house a lot more than you guys think. And it's like, okay, well, I understand, like, they have boundaries, but so do I, And the whole social life thing, I feel like they definitely respect that I plan ahead and I run it by them. And I always check if we have plans as a family before I do plans with my friends.
I see. So, like, kind of just, like, planning ahead and making sure that they still can say no, but saying, like, oh, you really can't say no if I plan this very strategically. Okay, I get that. Anything else?
Well, yeah, it's like they're definitely not last-minute planners. So if I ever have a last-minute plan, I definitely cannot go.
So, yeah, just planning ahead. I mean, I kind of do the same thing. I'm very type A when it comes to, like, plans anyways, so I don't know. I just kind of try to plan around that.
It's kind of hard, too, when, like, sometimes your friends are very, like, oh, well, we'll see what happens on the day of.
Oh, my God. And they don't understand because their parents aren't as strict.
Yeah.
No, I get it. So have you had any, like, conflicts with your parents? Like, if they said, like, oh, you haven't done this, like, your responsibilities at the house, or have they said anything about you being out late or, like, trying to be more independent than they think you are?
Oh, yeah, I've definitely, like, maybe I don't do one dish, and they're like, why is there dishes in the sink? And I'm like, dude, there's, like, a whole plate in there. Like, it's just one plate. And it's, like, also, if I'm over here already putting away everyone's things and doing all the chores and running all the errands, the one plate is not the end of the world, you know?
Mhm.
And I feel like they think that that one plate means that I did nothing at
Yeah.
all. And it's like if they see it, then that means, oh, what were you doing all day? Were you just in your bed? Were
You
you
weren't
just
doing the dishes.
yeah, you weren't doing the dishes because it's still there.
Mhm.
Right. So, I actually had other things to do. I also have work, so like
Do you feel like that's more impacted because you're a woman? Like, do they make Mason do all of those chores?
well, they're like, well, he's younger, da, da, da. But when I was younger, I was helping out around the house still too.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's definitely the younger, like, I feel like personally, because I'm the oldest,
Oh my God.
I have a little bit of a grudge against the younger like
Yeah, guys, I'm a
siblings.
younger sibling.
But I mean, I don't know. I think it really all depends because he definitely is personally a little bit treated more special. But,
Mm.
I mean, I'm not really too worked up about it because I know that they do care, but at the same time, they put a little bit more hardship on me.
Yeah. Have you told them that? Have you like communicated boundaries when it comes to like, I mean, your relationships with them and then like going out and like having your own personal relationships, especially because we're like in our 20s, right? And like I feel like we're mini adults when it comes to adulting because we still don't pay rent. We still don't do like all of those things that like maybe people in their 30s, 40s, 50s are used to. So how does that play out for you?
Well, honestly, if I did talk about it with them, it's kind of difficult. Like,
Mhm.
because they bring up what they went through. They bring up, well, I had to do all this. I had to do that. Well, I'm sorry you had to do that. Like, what? And it's just like they bring up their past. They bring up what they went through. They bring up, like, how they grew up.
Mhm.
And I get it. Like, what they went through was hard. What
Mm.
they went through, they did everything. But at the same time, they always say, like, well, I don't want you to, like, we didn't want you to have the same life we did. But, like, it low key's feeling like you're doing the same thing that your parents did to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of parents do that.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I have more privileges now than my parents did, and it's like you worked hard so we could have those privileges. So, like, when we are trying to talk to you about something that's important to us, like, why are you throwing that in our face? Why are you throwing your struggle in our face? I understand that's important. I value what you did for us, but that doesn't make, like, our current situation right now any less hard than, like, yours.
Right.
Because that's my reality. Like, your
Yeah.
reality was what you did with your parents. And then my reality is right now with you guys. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of like how I see it. So how do you feel growing up where we live in the Valley? So how do you feel like that shaped your views on our independence and our adulthood? Like, I know your parents came from the Bay Area. So like living in the Valley, how do you think that made a difference on your upbringing?
I mean, I feel like living in the valley, yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
it's a better environment than in the Bay Area. And like, which kind of sucks, it's like they weren't able to ride their bikes out in the neighborhood. They weren't able to, do a lot of things. Which I mean, yeah, I'm very thankful and grateful for where we live and, how my parents raised me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a definitely better environment and I feel good about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they just didn't have a lot of privileges that we
Yeah.
had. And I'm glad they worked. I'm glad they got themselves out of the situation. But it's kind of hard when it's kind of thrown in your face
Yeah.
and said, like, okay, well, you need to do this because I didn't get to do this.
Right.
It's a little bit controlling, especially when I'm not a child anymore. Like, I live here. I have feelings too. And especially because of all the resources that I have for my mental health, I'm so much more aware of what's going on around me, and they haven't even unpacked their trauma. So, like, even when I bring something up, they are, like, triggered by one little thing. And it's really hard to have a conversation with your parents when they're so reactive. Um, and especially when it comes to curfews and hanging out with your friends or being at work for a little bit longer. Like, it shouldn't be micromanaged, but it's something that kind of is.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, heavy on that part. I mean, I feel like they definitely, like, they want what's best for us, but at the same time, they're not seeing that it does affect us. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like if we were to talk about it, like, with our parents or, have a conversation with them, I feel like we definitely, it feels like they think that we're talking back.
Yep.
Like, when we have a conversation, we can't really talk with them. It's like they think that we're talking at them.
Mm.
So that's what makes it definitely difficult.
Do you think, like, your cultural background has, like, an impact on the way they react? Like, do you think it would be different from, like, me, like, coming from a Hispanic household? Like, how do you think that your ethnicity and your background relates to, like, other situations?
Well, definitely knowing Filipinos, their parents could not, they said, no, you can't go out. No, who are you with? I need to meet them. I need to meet their parents. I need to know, like, where you're going,
Mm-hmm.
when you're going, if you're leaving where you're going to another place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, that's good, like, safety on their kids, but at the same time, it's like, when you have my location, I will tell you where I'm going. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not hiding it from you. But for you to not trust me, then that makes me feel like, okay, well, how come my parent, my own blood doesn't trust me where I'm doing and where I'm going?
Yeah, so it's more of those generational patterns.
Yeah.
And you kind of, like, and honestly, how could you blame them? Because it, like, I do blame them. I'm not gonna lie, like, but it's really hard to just think that it's your parents' first time living too. And I have to remind myself so heavily on that because I will get so enraged by my mother. And like I don't want to be mad at her, but I also like I feel like this unfairness. Um, yeah. I don't know
No,
if you feel
yeah.
the same way.
I definitely, yeah, I agree. Because I do always forget, like, this is their first life. Like, this is what they're living. Like, even though they were born before us, they're still experiencing these things.
Yeah, no, totally. And I feel a certain way about it just because, like I said, I hold kind of a grudge against my mom. And I try not to. Like I said, it's her first time living. But she tells me stories about her childhood and how unfairly she was treated by her mom and how her brothers never had to do anything around the house. And it's like, I am the youngest sibling and I have three older brothers, and I still did everything for them. And she still treats them like her little baby boys and all of this stuff. And it's just like hard because it's like if you live that, and I know it's still your first time living, I know it's still your first time being a mother, why would you put me through that and put even more strict rules on me? Like my brother went to Paris by himself at age 17, and then when I wanted to go to LA, which is in the same state, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "No, you can't." And I was like, "Do you see your son going out here doing all these trips?" And it's just like, I get it, but at the same time, I don't. I really don't.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that because I just got a TV in my room and my mom's over here talking about, oh, Mason, do you want a TV in your room too? And he's literally 13. Like, I did not get a TV in my room until now. And then what, you're going to give it to him? Like, no, make him wait the same time I had to wait. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
not fair.
Yeah, no. Honestly, it's just like they kind of go back and forth. It's hot or cold. I can go out at this time. I can go out at this time. I can have this. I can do this. But you can't go out of state. And you can't do the things that you really want to do. And just kind of like bouncing off that. Not only do I have to worry about social aspects of things, I have to worry about college. I have to worry about work. And that's something that we're going to jump into after the break. So go ahead, refill your drinks, get some food, and we will be back after this commercial break. Bye.
Bye.
Do you want your music to be played right here on 93.5 KWDC? Send us an email at kwdc@deltacollege.edu or go to www.kwdc.fm and under the Be On Air tab, click on Music Submission. And then you can hear your music played right here on 93.5 KWDC, Stockton.
Remember your childhood memories where you discovered the magic of nature? Like looking up at the stars or chasing fireflies. Help ensure your child gets those same experiences. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest or park near you and discover other cool things to do when you go, like fishing, biking, or even camping. Visit discovertheforest.org.
Suicide is the leading cause of death amongst young adults. Friends can play a crucial role in suicide prevention, since 76% of young adults turn to a friend in a time of crisis. This generation is ready to crack open a conversation about mental health, but they're missing the language to do it. Seize the Awkward aims to encourage and empower young adults to reach out to a friend who may be struggling with mental health. SeizeTheAwkward.org provides resources such as tutorial videos, information on warning signs, conversation starters, and tips on how to sustain a conversation around mental health. To learn more, visit SeizeTheAwkward.org, public service announcement brought to you by the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention and the Ad Council.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Text and whatever. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And we're back. You're listening to Still Home, Still Grown on KWDC 93.5 Stockton. So before the break, we were talking about what it's like trying to stay independent while living under your parents' roof. And honestly, that's a big part of the struggle that comes from trying to juggle everything else, school, work, my future, all while living at home. Trinity, let's get into that. You and I both commute, we both work, and we're still trying to figure out what's next. What does that balancing act look like for you?
Well, I do have a schedule. I wake up in the morning, go to the gym, and then I run errands, do my chores, and then I study. And then on top of that, I go to work right after. Sometimes I go to work early, sometimes I go to work later, depending on the days.
Yeah, your days seem pretty full. Plus, I'm literally with her most of the days, so I kind of know how everything goes. But do you feel like your parents control, like, any of those aspects of your schedule, or do you feel like you do that pretty well on your own?
Well, the schedule was helped. My mom helped me make it. So, but I think I am a type of person that likes checking things off, and then that's how I know that I got it done.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, a routine is really good for me because if I didn't have a routine, then I kind of would just, do it on my own time. And I'm definitely a procrastinator.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes we all are when it comes to certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, how do you stay motivated? Because if you don't know, Trinity wakes up every single day at 7 a.m., which, me personally, I cannot do that, unfortunately. At least being consistent with it. So, like, how do you stay motivated by waking up to go to the gym and then going to work, and still maintaining that social life?
I think my main thing right now for the gym is that summer is coming around the corner and I need to lock in. But yeah, waking up early is definitely still difficult for me. Even though I do it all the time, like, I don't want to wake up. My bed is so comfortable. And I think that, like, because I balance out the time and what I do every day, it gives me an overview of what I'm going to do for the day, basically.
And it helps you stay motivated?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely, I feel like my schedule is more loose than yours because I have swim practice Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. And most of the time, like, on Mondays, I don't wake up and I don't go to practice because who wants to wake up on a Monday morning at 5 a.m.? Like, that is insane. So I kind of just play by ear. Like, I'll go if I'm motivated. I'll go if I'm like, if I'm not, I'll stay home. I'll do a workout at the gym, whatnot, you know. But it kind of just changes. I have schools Tuesdays, Thursdays, but my parents never really tell me anything about my schedule or my career. Like, they just kind of, they're like, okay, you know what you're doing, you know what you're supposed to be doing, so do it. And they've kind of always been like that because I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but like they paid us to get good grades and then they stopped. So like if you got an A, you would get $10. If you got like a B, like you wouldn't get any money, but like if we got straight A's, like we would get paid to do that. So I feel like the conditioning that they set for us, like we have high standards and they don't always check in. Like, of course, they're going to be like, oh, what are you going to do? But they're not always breathing down my neck. And I feel like your parents are different where, like, they're always on your butt about what you need to be doing.
Well, first of all, you are so lucky you got paid for your good grades, bro. My parents were like, it is regardless, like, that's you bare minimum. You have to get A's. Like, if you don't get A's, like, if I got a C or even a B, I would get my phone taken away.
Really?
Yes. If I got a C, I would get my phone taken away until I brought that up to a B.
Yeah.
If I had a B, like, okay, yeah, it's fine, but they would want an A. My mom used to say, I want you to get, like, such good grades, like, because, you know, they didn't really have A pluses or, like, A minuses, really. It was just A.
Yeah.
You know, A or B. And then, like, the grade point average, whatever, right? Well, my mom used to say, well, I want you to get, like, such good grades that they invent the A plus.
And the A plus.
And I was like, oh, okay. But, you know, that's actually funny that, you know, you say that they don't check in because my parents do not care. No matter what, even if they're working or if they're out somewhere else in a different state, they will text me what to do.
No, yeah, that's so funny because her mom actually called us during this podcast and I guess her phone was on Do Not Disturb, but like she called us and she left this really angry voice. It was really funny. Trinity, you want to play it?
Let's play it.
Girl, why are you not answering your phone? You have your phone glued to your hand all the time. Please call me back. There's a package on the door. Please get it. Call me when you do.
So, yeah, that's basically how things go with me. Right now, I'm currently on lockdown. I've been on lockdown for this whole month. That means, like, I have not been able to go out. I have to turn my phone in at 10 p.m. And, like, I can't go out on the weekends.
Past 20?
Yes.
That's insane.
Yes. But it's honestly, like, I get and understand why my parents are doing this because I need to lock in for this test that I'm studying for my career. And it's a good, like, fallback in case, like, you know, other work options don't work out.
Does it bother you that they're like so on you when it's your career, your life? Like where is it like good parenting versus like I need some space, I'm an adult, I can handle my own? Like where do you draw the line with that?
Well, recently, because everyone has been on my case about this test, I definitely have been a little bit stressed out and like anxious, and I feel like everyone just kind of needs to leave me alone. Like, not even just, like, my parents. I think just everyone in general about, like, taking this test is definitely, like, a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you deserve to, like, not be going out with friends during this time? Or do you think you're really bothered by the fact that just because you're not passing this test for your career, that it's unfair that they don't let you go out? I mean, I would say you're grown, you know? Like, I'm the same age. I don't think my parents would say I'm grown. But, like, to me, it's like you're still your own person. You work. You're doing what you can for your career. So, like, do you think that's unfair?
A little bit. Because it's like, I'm getting so much FOMO. There's so many people that are going out asking me to go out, and I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, my parents go, well, you know, once you pass this test, you can go out. Once you pass this test. And it's like, okay, well, next month, fingers crossed, if I pass this test, I'll be able to have my freedom back. But then we'll see how much freedom I have if I go back to curfew time.
And what was curfew time?
10 p.m.
10 p.m.?
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird that you say that because, like, I also feel like they're very hot and cold when it comes to like your curfew as is. Because we went to a rave like maybe a month back and we didn't get home till really late. Like sometimes they don't care and then sometimes they do.
Yeah, hit me on that part. Like, I think it depends, like, where I'm at. If they know, like, a club or a rave, they'll know that, like, I'm gonna be back home late.
Yeah.
There was this one time that I definitely should have, like, told them, but, like, okay, I accidentally fell asleep at a friend's house when I went to the club, and I didn't get back home until 6 in the morning,
Oh my God.
and I was all the way out in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's
But, like,
scary.
they weren't mad. Like, they were disappointed that, like, I fell asleep and I should have literally went home right then and there. But I was waiting for my other friend to, like, finish up, like, getting ready and, like, talking and stuff like that with their friends. But yeah, I was surprised that they weren't mad. Like, I didn't get my phone taken, nothing like that. Like, they were just like, be home by this time.
Yeah, do you think they just really want you to be able to work and I mean, you're working right now, but it's not the job that they want you to be doing. So like why like do you think that plays a big factor in why you can't go out?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, my parents want me to have like a like big career. Mostly my dad, like, he wants me to be a business person himself. Like, just not working for someone else, but working for myself. And I get that. But even though, you know, we are grown, we are older, people are still figuring out what they want to do with their life. And I feel like they don't really understand because it's like there's people older than me that don't know what they're doing. But yet I'm still here. I have a career. I have a job. I'm studying for another job that could be my fallback. So I have other options. I have background things and, you know, backup options. But I feel like they still don't understand that, like, I'm still figuring things out.
Yeah, it's important to know that you also are just starting out. Like, they didn't have their stuff together when they first were starting out. So I feel like it's a little bit unfair that, like, you have all these restrictions. And, like, I mean, for me, my parents, like I said, they just want me to do well and they don't really check in as much. But I don't think that your career should affect you going out or like you doing things that you want to do because ultimately it's your life, it's your happiness. So what comes up like mentally when you feel that FOMO and you can't go out because your parents think you need to focus on your career. Like, I feel like that's your choice to focus on your career. Obviously, you're not paying rent under their house and they still have a little bit of leeway there. But, like, how do you feel mentally?
Genuinely, like, I have definitely been feeling drained. And it's just, like, being by myself and, like, seeing all my friends go out, seeing people that I know having fun, living their life. And, you know, it's just, it kind of sucks, you know? And it's like, I feel like with all these restrictions, it makes me feel so enclosed. And it makes me feel like I'm just trapped. Which I get there's some of the restrictions, but at the same time, I don't. Because it's like, it's my life. And I'm not out here doing no crazy stuff. Like, I'm here just to, like, have fun, you know, spend the time, make the memories.
Yeah, and I feel like you're in between a rock and a hard place because at the same time, you understand why they want you focusing on your career because if you're living at home, you're paying no rent, you're not buying any food, like, of course, you're going to have all the time in the world to focus on your career, and they're mad that you're not passing this test, right? And I get it, but at the same time, you have needs. You have your mental health to worry about. Honestly, if your mental health isn't taken care of, you're not going to be able to focus on the big test. Like, you're having so much anxiety, and I feel like friends relieve that anxiety. Like, especially, I mean, we're lucky because we work together and I see you every single day. Like, it's not like a big thing. Like, I came here to do the podcast with her because she can't go out the house. So I think that's a big part of like passing that test is getting your mental health in line. But we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break because Trinity's mom is calling again. So we must answer the phone and we will see you when we get back.
Hello?
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in '09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
All right, you're tuned in to Still at Home, Still Grown on KWDC 93.5. Thanks for sticking with us. So, switching gears a bit, something we haven't touched on yet, but definitely hits when you're living at home in your 20s, is how it affects your relationships. Dating while living at home, that's a whole different game. Trying to have a social life, maintaining relationships, even just having a little bit of privacy. Trinity, I know we both had our fair share of awkward moments when it comes to that. So how do you feel like living at home has shaped your dating/social life?
Oh my gosh. Well, honestly, I have not had a good dating streak, especially living at home. My parents, if I wanted to go on a date, my parents are going to want to meet this person. They are going to want to be like, well, who is this person? How long have you guys been talking? Da-da-da. I can't just meet someone and go on a date without them having to meet my parents.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it is kind of embarrassment too, because it's you don't want your parents to meet every single one of your partners.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not even every single one of your partners, but just people you're going on dates with, because they might not stick around.
Right.
And I feel like for me personally, every time I'm talking to someone new, I don't want my mom to be like, oh my God, she's a player. She's doing all this stuff under my roof, just having all of these expectations going in, putting her eggs in one basket and not thinking about our compatibility. If they want to meet every single one of my partners, that's just not going to fly for me.
God forbid a girl tries to figure out who she wants to date.
I know, yeah. So what are your experiences with privacy in the house, independence, expectations? Are there some things that you have to do, or are you just completely transparent with them?
Okay, so I've definitely, when I have talked to a guy, I sometimes I FaceTime them, we get to know each other, we FaceTime, we talk, right? Well, if I'm on FaceTime, my parents are going to be like, who are you on the phone with? Who are you talking to? And then I can't, I freeze up. I freeze up and I'm like, and then that's when they're like, well, why are you so nervous? And it's like, well, I don't want to tell you about this person that we just started talking and then what, it doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
That just doesn't, that to me doesn't really, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's yeah, I don't want my parents knowing about this person if we don't work out and then I'm talking to someone else. And then they're like, well, what happened to the other one? Well, why didn't that one work out? And it's like all the details. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely my parents are really weird. Well, first and foremost, like, they know I'm sexually active, which is, like, so embarrassing. It's like your parents know those things. I mean, obviously, I'm grown. I'm in my 20s. Like, I shouldn't be shamed for it. And the fact that, like, that's at the forefront of their head when they're talking about dating, like, they know that ultimately something's gonna happen between us, right? And I try to, like, limit their knowledge on what they know, who they know, and things like that. But, like, even when I'm dating someone, like, I make it known to them, but, like, I give them limited amount of details. Especially, like, my coworkers. Like, I don't really tell them about my coworkers. I don't tell them about my friends because they hold grudges no matter what it is. If it's, like, I'm romantically involved with them or platonically involved, they love to, like, hold grudges on people that did me dirty, so I don't want them knowing about my life and my people.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, heavy on that part. The holding grudges is so real. I definitely remember one time where this guy asked me out on a date, and I told my mom about it. And
As one does.
Yeah. Told my mom, I said, like, this guy, he asked me out on a date, like, da-da-da. She was like, well, I want to meet him. So when he came to pick me up, she went out, and he was so nervous, he saluted her.
He saluted her?
Yes, he saluted her. Like, he was like, oh, she was like, hi, like, I'm Trinity's mom, nice to meet you. And he was like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. And, like, saluted. And I was like,
God.
My gosh. And then I think he blinked out while he was talking to my mom because he was like, I don't remember saluting her. Did I actually do that? But yeah, because my mom is really intimidating. Like, and like, she gets that a lot. Like, from not only just my friends, but like people, if I'm talking to anyone, my mom is the most intimidating.
Well, yeah, I can vouch for that. She is very, very intimidating. But it's like on the other side of that too, like, we also have to respect other people's boundaries. So, like, if I'm going on a date with a guy and I'm like, okay, well, you have to meet my parents. What if the guy doesn't want to meet my parents?
Right.
Like, he's not ready for that. And if that's a requirement, then that takes him out of the pool. Like, and what if that man was my husband? You know? Like, it's honestly so annoying that they make me do that. There was a period in time, like, right after I graduated high school where they would have to meet every single person that I was with. Now, they don't care who I go out with. I'll name drop a lot of people, and they just can't remember who's who, which is, like, classic manipulation on my part. But they don't care as much, but it's still, like, I want to bring them around my house. And also, my parents are not, like, hosting type people. They're very homebody. We don't really have anyone over. So especially, even though our house is a shared space, I don't feel like my friends are welcome. I don't feel like my boyfriends are welcomed. I don't feel like it's really a true shared space.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, going down the line, I want them to meet my parents if I know that they're the one. You know, once I introduce you to my parents, that's when I know, like, I think of you as, like, we're locked in, you know? But yeah, honestly, I understand that whole, like, anxious and, like, feeling of meeting someone's parents when you're just starting to talk. Because it's like, well, they don't know where this is gonna go. You don't know where this is gonna go. Meeting someone's parents is kind of big. And that's, to me personally, like, I feel like meeting someone's parents is pretty big, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the latest thing that they made me do, so I went snowboarding with one of the people that I was talking to. And they know he was, like, a coworker of mine. Also, side note, do not date your coworkers. Anyways, they knew, like, of him, but they didn't really know him. And they're like, well, he needs to come introduce himself to us, like, blah, blah, blah. But the problem was my dad wasn't going to be home and my mom was going to be sleeping because it was, like, 5 a.m. Like, when we have to head out. So I literally wrote his name, his number and a description of him on a sticky note. And I was like, here, if I go missing, this is his information. And obviously he works with me. They'll know who like kidnapped me or like, their fears are just so silly to me. I mean, it's not silly. Like, I know they're just being protective, but I think it's like funny what you have to do, even though you're still living at home and you have your own life and then you have your joint life with your parents. And that's something that's really weird. And that guy has only ever came over when my parents are not home. And luckily I don't have cameras like some people. But it's really funny trying to find that balance with like dating and bringing people over, and not even just like the people that I'm talking to, my friends as well. Like, I feel uncomfortable having sleepovers. I just started having sleepovers. And so it's really new to me, all of that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Like, my parents are definitely we've always been the hosting household. So I always had friends over, but they are definitely the ones to hold grudges. So when I when I got into like a quarrel with some friends, they were like, "Oh, you're friends with them?" So, and I'm like, "Yeah, like, why not?" Like, we worked it out. But yeah, with relationships as well, like with guys that I've talked to, if I told my mom about them, she'll bring them up.
Mm-hmm.
And then like if I'm on FaceTime with someone and like she'll be like, "Oh, is that?" I'm like, "No."
Oh my
No.
God. That's embarrassing.
And then yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. No, heavy on like the conflicts with friends and the grudges, just because I've like been talking to a lot of my friends and we'll get into conflicts, right? Like, obviously friendships come with a lot of conflicts that you have to deal with, especially at our age, because it's like we're changing. We're not going to grow with the same people we used to. And recently I had a conflict with one of my friends and I had brought them over like maybe like 3 days ago. And I was like crying to my mom. I was like, "Oh my God, like this person made me feel this way." And then she was like, "Was it the girl that had came over the other day?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Don't bring her to the house anymore." And I was like, "Oh my God, this is why I don't tell you anything, because it's like, it's my house too. And I can deal with my own friendship conflicts without your input. But now it's like, I really don't want to invite that friend over because you're going to have something to say about it."
No, I completely understand. Like, that's the same way with my parents planning parties or even a hangout. Like, I say that so-and-so is going to be there, and then they go, "Oh, well, didn't they do this and that?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, yes, they did." But at the same time, it's like you live and you learn. And those experiences that you go through is exactly what you kind of need in your life. And I feel like most of the time, not a lot of people are. Oh, hold on, guys. My mom's texting me that I gotta go do something. We'll be back right after this break.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work.
Sorry, I'm late.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
If you love them enough to listen to them practice the same song on tuba,
Please be done.
over and over and over and over and over, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Sounds good, honey.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Do you want your music to be played right here on 93.5 KWDC? Send us an email at kwdc@deltacollege.edu or go to www.kwdc.fm and under the Be On Air tab, click on Music Submission. And then you can hear your music played right here on 93.5 KWDC, Stockton.
Welcome back, guys, and thank you for making it this far in the podcast. I hope you grab some refreshers, some snacks, anything to keep you going. But we are going to go ahead and we're going to hop back into our topic about social life and relationships while living at home. So Trinity, go ahead and finish up what you were saying before we were interrupted.
Going back to what I was saying about how you live and you learn, those experiences are what build you into the person you are now. And I feel like our parents want to protect us from that hurt and that conflict, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like that does take away from our own autonomy, like learning and going down a path that's really something that we're meant to follow. Like, if we are meant to get into this bad situation that's going to help us go through the rest of our lives, like, why interfere with that? And they're parents. They're going to be our protectors. And at the end of the day, that's their job. But it's really hard when we're walking that fine line of adulthood, but they're still treating us like a child.
Yeah, it's really hard for them to stop treating us like a kid and letting us experience what we really need to in our lives. Like, for example, I did actually have someone that I introduced into my family and even just like my parents. And he even asked my parents' permission to be my boyfriend. And they said yes and stuff like that. And this was during my graduation party too. So he met my entire family, all my friends and stuff like that. 2 weeks in, he cheated on me with his best friend's ex.
Wow.
And I actually found out through his best friend because his best friend called me and he was like, Trinity, I don't know what to say, but like, he's cheating on you. And I just started laughing because I was like, this isn't real. And I was waiting for him to laugh and like, just kidding. And he was hella serious and shaking. And I was just like, oh,
yeah,
okay. And I think after that experience, like, my parents are very, very cautious about who I talk to. And they just don't want me to be hurt like that again, which I completely understand. But like, that's tying into like living at home. They're so invested in how I am and, how I'm feeling with anyone that I talk to, anyone that I get close to in a relationship. And it's just, they want to make sure that what happened to me before doesn't happen again.
Yeah, it's almost like you never get that breath of fresh air and like that time away from your parents because you want to feel like you're in control of your own romantic life. And it's like they're not giving you that space. They're telling you this is how it's going to be if you're living in my house. And I feel like at a certain point, at a certain age, right, you should be able to have power over that. And I think for the most part, I do, but it's just like having that extra, like a two-step verification, honestly. Like, I know this person's good, but my parents have to know that this person is good. And I think that's in any relationship, even if I wasn't living at home, but I think it's a bit more difficult because it's like I also have to choose the right person to be around my family if they're going to be at my house and taking up space.
Yeah. They have to be able to be comfortable with conversation with my parents. They have to be able to, understand that dynamic in the household kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely think it's just a very hard adjustment to have when you're adulting and then you're finding your partner, and they're still involved in every single aspect of your life.
Yeah, no. Living at home is definitely a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, especially when we depend on them a lot for financial help and things like that. I know, like, myself, I don't pay rent. I don't contribute to, like, the household funds. But Trinity, what are the biggest financial benefits of staying at home for you?
Well, it's definitely cheap because we don't be paying rent. But I do help out with like groceries if needed to, and I do save on some gas because if I do run their errands, they Venmo me some gas money.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
So how do you think that has shaped your view on adulthood responsibilities? Like, do you feel like you can do adulting when you're out of the house, or do you feel like this is just like the baby steps?
This is definitely baby steps because I feel like we don't make a lot of money. And, if I made more money from my job, I would definitely be contributing more to my household and my everyday life.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like if I had the means to contribute to my family household, I would. But right now, like you said, we're not getting paid enough or just a lot, especially in this economy. So it's definitely hard. I find myself between a rock and a hard place when it comes to helping my parents out and also saving for my future self to get a house or an apartment so that I don't have to live with them under their rules. So, Trinity, let me ask you, how do you balance saving for the future versus enjoying just the present moment and trying to find that balance?
Well, after our paychecks, I definitely try to put a little bit into my savings just so that I can accumulate more money for, bigger events and bigger trips. And it definitely helped that we stopped going out more.
Oh, yeah, we like to go out to eat a lot.
It definitely helped that that I'm on lockdown, so we haven't really been able to go out.
Yeah. I guess they're saving a lot of money doing that. Yeah, so what have you been saving for? Anything in particular?
Well, I definitely want to move out soon. Heavy on that part. But I think it's really expensive in this economy. Like a one bedroom apartment is like what, $2,000?
Well, where are you trying to live, girl?
I'm like maybe the Bay or
Oh yeah, it's
because
pretty
I don't
expensive there.
I don't want to go out to SoCal
Mm-hmm.
low key because I've grown up here. I've grown up in the Bay, so I'm not trying to go anywhere else.
Yeah. Do you have any like goals for the next few years?
I think my biggest goal right now is to be able to save up at least 100,000, just to have that money in that back, like that fallback money, kind of for my housing, for going out, for any other things that I want to do.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I'm not the best saver. Honestly, I feel like because I live with my parents and I know that they got me, like I don't save as much money as I should, and that's a really bad habit. But like right now, I'm going to be very transparent. Like, I don't have a lot of money in my bank account. Like, I know for facts, like, I have like $30 in my checking, and it'd be like that sometimes.
No, really.
And we just got paid too, because it's like I'm paying like my credit card, I'm paying like other things, I'm putting money into my savings. But just knowing that they have my back sometimes really deters me from making sure I'm saving as much as I can.
No, yeah, I agree. I definitely, knowing that my parents are there and financially can help me out in any situation is really bad because, I do spend a lot like you do. But I feel like we definitely need to work on that.
Definitely. And even so, like this fall, I'm going to transfer to a university. And I got an RA position there, so I'm getting free housing and free food, but I'm still going to have to work 20 hours a week and not be able to like get any other jobs. I'm going to try to get another job if I can, but then I'm balancing school, I'm balancing 2 jobs, and I don't get paid for that position because I'm getting free housing and free food in return. So trying to save within the next 2 years is going to be like a little bit difficult for me because we are swim instructors. I'm going to like try to make ends meet by doing privates and doing my own work on the side. That way I can save for moving out after I graduate. Because the last thing I want to do is have that 2 years of freedom and then have to move back into the house without any job and just kind of mooching off of them for maybe a year after that until I get back up on my feet. So kind of like staying ahead of the game and making sure that I can make ends meet by myself and really locking in and saving as much as I can within these 2 years.
Yeah, honestly, that's really the best you can do is just be focused on work. Like, I'm thinking of getting a second job and working 2 jobs just to accumulate more money.
So do you think your parents are going to be supportive when it comes to working 2 jobs? Do you think that's going to be a hard adjustment to your responsibilities at home? How is that going to play out for you think?
I feel like going into it, my parents will really understand that, having 2 jobs, I won't have the time to, do what I did before. Because having this one job I have right now, I work later. So that means I have more time to run errands, help with the chores, and stuff like that. But I definitely do need to create a new schedule for myself once I do have those 2 jobs.
Yeah, it's definitely hard when they're going to rely on you for a lot of things, and then you pick up another responsibility. Just juggling life in general at this age, I feel is very confusing because you have so much you want to do, but then you also have to build a career. You have to make sure your family commitments are fulfilled. You have to make sure your friends are okay. And I just think it's a lot of pressure. I mean, I definitely feel like if my career doesn't work out, I'm going to be so screwed. And that's just really not a good feeling overall because I don't want to have the pressure of outside expectations on me, but it's inevitable.
Yeah, a lot of people our age just really need to kind of know how to balance things out in our lives and really kind of think about what we're going to do in the future.
Yeah. Honestly, it's crazy how much living at home can shape every part of our life. Our independence, our work life, our relationships, just all of it I feel like is very overwhelming. But I think at the end of the day, it's about making the most of where we're at, even if it's not exactly where we thought we would be at this age. Like, I know we have bigger goals than where we're at right now, but it's about our progress in getting there and not just worrying about everything that comes up. Giving ourselves grace, I think.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and listening to Still Home, Still Grown here on KWDC 93.5. Trinity, thanks for being here and being so real with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah, and everyone listening, just remember that if you're at home or you're on your own, you are still growing regardless of where you are. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Still Home, Still Grown. Still Home, Still Grown has been a production of KWDC 93.5 LPFM Delta College Radio. This program is made possible by listeners like you. Programming is produced by the students, staff, and faculty of the San Joaquin Delta College's Digital Media Department. It is supported by the Delta College Department of Arts and Multimedia, the Career Technical Education and Workforce Development Office in the state of California. Thank you for listening.